One, James speak.
Good morning and welcome to Santa Fe College's Career Coffee Shop. I am James Schindler, coordinator for the Career and Job Placement Office, and with me today is Ismelda Alvarez, admissions specialist. I just want to say, it is great to be here with all of you this morning. It's hard to believe it's already July 30th. This is our 6th live episode of Career Coffee Shop, and fall classes are ready to begin. How are you doing this morning?
Hey James, doing great. And as you said, we are getting ready for a fall semester, so admissions is busy. And we're super excited about what is going to happen and what is happening in our community as well. So James, I have a coffee question for you. Are you ready?
Go for it.
True or false? The lighter the coffee bean grows, the more caffeine you get.
You know what? I've heard this question before. So I'm going to say true. But I have to think that it's got something to do with the type of bean and probably the soil as well.
Yes, you're right. So the lighter the roast, the more caffeine in your cup, and the more it will wake you up. So then this is followed by medium roast and then dark roast. So I would have to check out on the bean and the soil parts.
I hear what you're saying, but my mind just can't give up the full-bodied flavor of a nice, strong, dark cup of coffee, which coincidentally is what I'm enjoying this morning. Nice espresso. To our guests this morning, if you have a quick coffee story you'd like to share before your presentation, please feel free to do so. After all, that's part of what our show is all about. Now, on with the show. Last week, we met with Rose Christie, who talked about scholarships. And it was also mentioned that she had won a visit with Mo, Larry, and Curly, Santa Fe College Teaching Zoo's Galapagos tortoises. Well, we couldn't stop there, so we reached out to the zoo and invited them to join us today.
And back when the virus forced us to begin to offer online classes, many of our students found themselves in need of better equipment and internet access in order to keep up with their studies. So Santa Fe College stepped up to the challenge, and Dr. B is here today. She will be talking about our laptop loan program.
Have you ever considered a career in health sciences? Whether you're preparing to enter the workforce for the first time or looking to transition into a new career, health sciences is definitely going to be a rapidly growing field for a very long time. Stick around to learn about 3 brand new program tracks going live for spring 2021. Then, we'll hear from Joanne Wilkes from our Displaced Homemaker program. You know, life doesn't always work out the way we planned, and sometimes even the strongest of us needs assistance. This program offers free classes and workshops throughout the year and has assisted over 4,500 women in Alachua and Bradford counties. That's just amazing.
And then finally, for our career corner, we will be joined by Takalachi, the state-run agency for persons with disabilities located here in Gainesville. They have plenty of open positions and great state benefits as well. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. We do appreciate your support. And if you're a first-time viewer, welcome. We are glad to have you here with us this morning. Go ahead and share with your friends. And our show is recorded live and designed to bring you the latest in workforce, career, and degree information, as well as referrals to resources at Santa Fe College and within our community. If you have questions as we work on our way through the presentation, please submit them via the chat function, and we will do our best to address them during the broadcast and get them to the appropriate department for follow-up.
I did want to add one additional way, which I use more and more, to find us, which is on Facebook. If you do a search for Santa Fe College, you will find a page full, just chock full, of how-to videos, pics of all sorts of campus activities, including lots of student activity, and links to a bunch of great resources, like us. If you've never been to Santa Fe College's Teaching Zoo, you are in for a treat. Admission is very inexpensive. I think it's $6, and it is one of the most relaxing spots on the Santa Fe College Northwest campus. Please welcome Haley Wilson from the Santa Fe College Teaching Zoo.
Thank you so much, James. I'm so excited to be here. We are such an affordable place to come and enjoy and bring your family. We are an education facility, and first and foremost, consider ourselves a conservation organization. That being said, we donate a lot of money every year to different conservation organizations. and have just recently increased our prices to $8 per person for adults and $5 per person for children. But if you find yourself coming to the zoo a lot, we also do offer memberships. We are currently unopened to the public just due to the COVID restrictions and our desire to work with the Santa Fe team as well as the Alachua County Health Department to make sure that we're providing just the safest atmosphere for our students, our animals, and then our guests, our family when we all are able to return. So again, thank you so much for inviting me to this coffee shop. I love coffee. I am this morning drinking out of a mug that I had an ex-teacher give me. It actually is a photograph of a white-handed gibbon that was photographed in Thailand. So you actually can see our family of white-handed gibbons once we reopen. Eddie is a blonde gibbon, just like this one photographed here. And I'm drinking a local brew from Sweetwater. So it's really delicious. It's actually a lighter roast because I do like a little bit more caffeine in the morning. But I'll jump right in and go ahead and share my screen. I've got a little presentation. Again, I'm Haley Wilson. I'm the academic advisor for our Zoo Animal Technology program. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, we are the only college program with an AZA accredited zoo actually on grounds. So we are accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which is a wonderful accrediting body that works with big well-known places like Disney, Busch Gardens, Zoo Tampa, St. Augustine Alligator Farm. So our zoo and our students are being held to those same standards there. And so it's really fantastic education and experience. All right. Here's some general contact information. We, especially with the zoo being close to the public, we are hashtag bringing the zoo to you on both Facebook and Instagram. So you can still see a lot of great things that our students are doing and that our zoo is participating in, even though we are currently close to the public. All right, so we are an associate in science degree. Our goal is to be a right to work degree. It's to train students with a combination of hands-on experience working directly in our accredited zoo, paired with that classroom education, learning things like aviculture, animal nutrition, mammal culture, herbiculture, zoo topics, and all of those courses that are going to then supplement that hands-on experience that you're getting in our zoo. We have about 85% of our graduates that are going right to work in full-time paid positions once they graduate. We have about another 5% or so that do go on to complete bachelor's degrees, but the majority of those students are looking to enter our program, get those hands-on skills, and then go right to work in the field. So as you can see below, that a lot of our students do want to stay in Florida and around this area. So a lot of those listed here, Brevard Zoo, Central Florida Zoo, Disney's Animal Kingdom, Natural Encounters Incorporated, which is, if you've ever seen a live bird show, most likely they're doing a lot of the training with their animals. So a lot of these places, our students are able to find positions there. All right, so staying local, while our students are enrolled in our program, typically they're able to do some internship opportunities to get some experience outside of the zoo. So we work with a couple of facilities, Luby Bat Conservancy being one of them. They always host a local bat fest. I'm not sure, again, with COVID restrictions, if that's going to be happening this year, but it's a really amazing event that they showcase a lot of their bats, a lot of their other animals, and raise money for their facility. So our students have an opportunity to do an externship while they're enrolled in our program to get some additional experience working with bats and some of the other species they have there. And then we've also had our graduates that go on who really just enjoy working at that facility and continue working there. Ashton Biological Preserve is another that's fairly local, and it's run by one of our graduates, and a lot of our graduates who are interested in herpetology, working alongside the endangered gopher tortoise. Ashton Biological Preserve is a really great place. White Oak Conservation. I don't know, those of you who might be Game of Thrones fans out there, the sound that they got actually for the dragons was recorded through the animals at White Oak Conservation. So a little fun fact about that. And so 2 of our graduates actually do go on to complete an 8-month internship with White Oak Conservation as soon as they graduate. And that's a little bit north of us, just shy of Jacksonville. Got lots of students who are interested in local animal rescues, who are employed at vets offices around our area, nature parks like the Knapaha, as well as the Florida Museum of Natural History and their butterfly rainforest. So there really are some great opportunities, even if you're just getting into this field, to go and do some volunteering or some work with some of these local agencies to try to get some experience or just a better understanding of if this is the right field for you. So again, we're all about getting students hired. We're all about promoting the skills that our students have to institutions, not only again, local, but national and around the world. So our zookeepers have been hired at over 160 institutions around the world. And they're in roles like zookeeping, education specialists, they are animal trainers, animal care specialists, they are doing keeper talks and guest interactions, they're doing conservation work. So it really is just what is your desire? What do you want to pursue? We can help you get there. And again, the beauty of being that hands-on program is that you get experience in these hard skills, like this hands-on capture and restraint, the actual general animal husbandry. This isn't theoretical knowledge for you once you graduate. And then I'll just wrap up. We have a video that we made highlighting our zookeepers and the work that our graduates do. So you can just, you can see that they are all over the nation, and it's really special the work that they're involved in. So we'll watch this one.
I am a Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources conservation educator.
I am a zookeeper.
I love my job. I am a safeguard for those who cannot speak for themselves.
More trophy day. Yeah, I think that was a trophy.
I'm a zooey.
I build awareness. I make habitats thrive.
I help species survive.
I am a zoo animal technology program graduate.
I'm a zookeeper.
I keep the only future worth having.
This is my passion.
The animals are calling.
Save animals, save the world.
Your future's calling.
Will you listen?
Do you want to save the world and make a difference for wild animals and wild places? Take the next step to becoming a conservation champion. Your future starts here.
So that being said, we are currently accepting applications for our class that will start in the summer of 2021. You can go ahead and email me if you have any questions about the program, about job placement after the program. I'd love to talk to you in more detail about your dreams and your education pathway and how we can do the best things for you. But until then, I'll go ahead and stop sharing here and we can take some questions if we have any.
Awesome, Haley, thank you so much. One of the amazing things about the zoo program at Santa Fe is how far away I hear from other zoos. Chicago Zoo reaches out to me quite regularly, looking for interns and people to work their program for the summer. So, again, great program. We do have some questions for you this morning. So one of the jobs that came in was about internships or work study. What kind of opportunities within the programs do people have for that hands-on experience, either at the zoo itself or in other facilities?
Great question. So, as a student in our program, you are our zookeeper. We don't employ any zookeepers. We have a small staff of about 10 to 15, but all of the animal care work is done directly by our students. they'll enter the program in their first semester, and then in their second, third, fourth, and fifth, they're moving through 7 different animal areas, ranging from our Birds 1, our Birds 2, and our commissary area, creating diets for all the animals, our cats in our postdoc, our education department, our herb house, and so students will have an opportunity throughout the program to work with over 70 species of animals and over 200 individual animals. So that's where all of that hands-on experience is going to be coming from. Now, within their time here, we do offer apprenticeship opportunities as well as some work-study positions. Now, some of this is limited currently due to COVID, but we're hoping to reinstate some of these positions. So if you are interested in exhibit building and design, there's an apprenticeship where you can follow and help one of our assistant curators to get more experience doing that. You're interested in educating the public and doing presentations with school groups or with community members, there's an education apprenticeship that you can follow around our conservation education curator and get more experience doing that. So that, in addition to some of those externship opportunities, like at Louis Back Conservancy, potentially at a horse farm, there are some of those externship opportunities that we do have available for students to participate in.
I have another question for you, Haley. Do you ever have college graduates attend the zoo program?
Great question. Absolutely. So we have people on all pathways of life. We have students who are right out of high school. We have students who have bachelor's degrees and who are having trouble getting into the workforce, and so then wanted to supplement their education with this experiential degree. We have students who are coming back to work who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who have decided that enough is enough at working their full-time banking job, and they want to do something that they have always had a true passion for. Now, I will say that it is a very physical field. It is challenging in that regard. We're working outside, and I don't know about you all, but if you've stepped outside in Florida, it is just hot and humid. So I have so much respect for the work that our zookeepers do. But let me tell you, I don't want to be working outside in this heat. So you have to have some sort of resilience in that respect, but absolutely, we are more than happy to train any student who wants to make this their career pathway and who has drive and physical ability.
Haley, thank you so much for joining us today. I know the zoo program is very popular here at Santa Fe. We often get a lot of questions, but many would consider your job as their dream job because you get to eat so many animals, and thank you for protecting our wildlife. And once again, thank you for being here.
Yeah, and one last thing, just is we are hoping to open to the public as soon as possible. So if you want to continue to check our website or our Facebook page, we'll have that information up as soon as we're available to open to the public. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Haley.
When COVID-19 first struck Alachua County back in late March, classes moved online very quickly, and instructors and students alike were forced to operate in a completely new environment. Santa Fe College reacted quickly to ensure students had laptops and internet regardless of financial means to finish their classes. Here to tell us about the laptop loan program is Dr. B. Iwani, Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs, College Ombudsperson, and Interim Coordinator of the Disability Resource Center. Welcome, Dr. B. The floor is yours. I think you're still muted, Dr. B.
That would be helpful if I can unmute myself. Thank you so much, Mr. Shinwas. It's great to be here and wonderful to talk about a program that the college has instituted, and we instituted it because of the changes. We all know that time has changed, and so has the ways that we relate. We've changed the ways we relate to our family members, the way we relate to family members, the way we relate to friends, the way we speak or talk with our teachers, and the way we actually get in touch with our instructors and the church. We've watched and also participated in programs on Zoom. For example, I've attended my nephew's naming ceremony on Zoom. Great opportunity He lives in Houston. There's no way I would have been there. I was very happy for him. We had twin girls. But here we are on Zoom. It was wonderful. We participated. Many of you have participated on Zoom weddings, and that's great. It's an opportunity in some ways, but then you need a tool to be able to participate. So what happens when all of these things is going on and these opportunities are presented to you, but then you just don't have the laptop? And that was actually what happened. So the fact remains that there's a huge digital divide. That became pretty obvious through this. While everyone moved online and we felt things were moving on, there were people that were left behind. We had many of our students who relied on the computers and available either in the public libraries or available in the Santa Fe campus library to be able to do their work, to be able to participate, and even go on campus to do their work, or to go to different labs that we have. Everything shut down. So what happens to many of these students? It appears as if things stopped, the world stopped at that point. The college realized that. The college doesn't want the world and the education to stop. The college doesn't want the dream for the students to stop. And that was why the college jumped in to look at what is it that we can do to provide and kind of manage things to limit the divide that exists digitally, especially for our students. So before I even go ahead to talk about that, I want to also show a coffee mug that I have. So this is a coffee chat. So we have to actually talk about coffee. So some people love to drink coffee because they say it wakes them up. I can have a cup of coffee by my bedside, drink it, and go to sleep. It doesn't make anything to me. But you have to understand though, I don't drink anything that isn't sweet. I am sweet enough. So I need anything that is going to go into me to be sweet. So I drink my cream with coffee. So, but then the other thing about the coffee is I do have a coffee mug. You can probably see it doesn't say anything about Santa Fe, but this is a culture that I want to share with you. This, I hope you can see the coffee, is a picture of my nephew and his wife. I am a Nigerian. When we get married, or our children, or our family gets married, we show it off through things. So, it's their wedding, we have the wedding day, and that's what I used to drink my cream with the coffee. Okay, so now let's talk about the loan program. This is available to students free of charge, but the student needs to apply. Student need not call because telephone is not the best way to get hold of somebody. If you call, then I'll still have to redirect you to the website. So when a student goes in, you want to fill out the form, and if you go to the Santa Fe website and just type on the search, just type laptop loan, and that will take you straight to the laptop loan program. And you can just go ahead and complete the application, and it comes in within 12 hours of completing the application. Your application will be reviewed. If there are questions, I, as the ombudsperson, will get back in touch with you. You can be assured, as long as you are a Santa Fe registered student, you will receive one. So, you may look at it and say, okay, well, I will be registering for the first semester. So I like to apply right now. I can tell you, if you apply, your application will be on the waiting list. Why? Because we like to cater to the students who are currently enrolled. I'm currently enrolled in the semester in which we are. Right now, we're in the summer semester. So students who are registered in the summer semester, they are the priorities right now. They complete it, the application is received. If there are any questions, I reach out to the students. If not, within 12 hours, you probably will get an email that says a laptop is waiting for you to pick up. So where would you pick it up? You must go to the D building at the Northwest campus. When we started this program, we were actually delivering. This is a project with so many other people. It's not just me doing this. I have the IT folks helping. I have Phil Scappens, I have Fred Evans working with me to make sure that we get this done. Because when we first started, we had Andy Anderson from the downtown campus. Andy was driving everywhere to deliver the laptop. But we realized that we cannot maintain or sustain that. So we decided it's better for students to come on campus. If we can go to Keystone Heights to deliver laptop, well, maybe we should be able to go to Orlando or Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Tallahassee to go and deliver laptop. That is unsustainable. That's the reason why we want every student, and we want it to be equal equity for everyone. So we want the student to drive on. So you might wonder, why is it that we cannot deliver? Again, the laptop program is an equity program. So in the facilitation of it, we also need to look at equity. And that's the reason why we want students to come in. So when you are coming, one, you must call to make sure, and when you get the email to say you've been approved, you will get specific information. You have to call because of social distancing, you must come on campus, and you must call to schedule the appointment. And then you just go to building D, make sure again that you practice appropriate physical distancing, make sure that you wear your face mask, and you can just go in and pick up a laptop. It is free of charge. And you don't have to, again, unless you are not registered for the semester, you will receive one. Somebody might say, well, I was registered in the spring. I want to take the fall off. But then I know I'm going to be coming back in the spring. What I suggest is wait until the spring, wait until you register, because the review process is, I receive that application, I'm going to make sure that you are currently registered, and then you get that computer, you just go to the IT and pick it up. So, again, the laptop is is available to students, free of charge, you must be registered, and again, it's a loaner. So after the semester, you are required to return the laptop so it is available for other students to check out. It's not only the laptop that we can check out, we also check out webcams. We have many of our students who are taking classes that need to take their exams using any type of information or any type of proctoring that requires webcam, or they might be taking a class, maybe a science class that also requires webcam. If students have laptops that doesn't have webcam, we can load them with webcams. The same way, the same application, and when a student completes the application, they just indicate, I only need a webcam, and you get a webcam system. So that's all I have.
Awesome. I do have a couple questions for you, Dr. B. I'm going to combine them. First off, how many laptops have been loaned out so far, do you know? And second, how long is the laptop loan program going to be running? Has that been decided?
Well, let me answer the first question, which is how many we've already loaned out. We've loaned out 91 laptops. Some students did check out the laptop and they return it, either because they've already purchased their own laptop or because they no longer need it or they are no longer registered. So they go ahead and return it. So we've had some. So right now, we have 91 laptops that are currently out with our students. And we have more than 100, we have over 170 available laptops. So feel free, we still have many. Go ahead and request. So now to your question about how long this program will be going on. As long as there's digital divide, as long as some students will be left without having access to their instruction, we will continue to run it.
Dr. B, it's always wonderful to see you, and thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this information. I know it's really helping out a lot of students, and once again, thank you. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Health Sciences here with us, so please welcome Sharon Whitcraft, Department Chair with Allied Health Programs, and Tom Robertson, Academic Advisor. Thank you both for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Izzy. Thanks, James, for inviting us to this coffee shop. And also shout out to my colleague, Sharon, for also having her join us with her expertise. So I don't have enough time to talk about all the 17 different programs we have in the health sciences area, but we do want to highlight 3 sort of new initiatives that will start this spring. But before we do, I don't have a coffee story, but my second office is usually found at the local Dunkin' Donuts down the street. So sorry, we're trying not to promote any brand. And my favorite, I'm not a coffee fan, I'm addicted to the caramel. So I get my coffee heavily with, like Dr. B, with cream, milk, and caramel. That stuff is addicting. All right, so healthcare has certainly been put in the spotlight with the advent of COVID-19 and the impact, and certainly a new appreciation and understanding what our healthcare providers are doing in this battle. And so it certainly impacted our programs at Santa Fe in health sciences. But before I get into the 3 specific programs Sharon and I to share with you about, I want to also just do a quick overview of our programs we offer. U.S. News World Report does a ranking. We all know colleges, universities, top engineering, top business schools, top careers. And recently, I noticed that out of the top 25 careers they list, 17 of those are in healthcare. So no doubt, if you have a drive and a passion for serving others, caring for others, and strong in math and science, that could be something for you to check out. So I want to take you to our webpage, and sort of for those of you that might be sort of new to Santa Fe, where you can get some of this information. So let's see if I can share this. So this is our webpage at Santa Fe. If you haven't been there, it's easy to find, sfcollege.edu. And like a lot of pages, sometimes it's hard to find. Where do I go, Tom, to find health sciences and programs you're talking about? So in the upper right-hand corner, you will see, and mine is hidden, so let me move mine out of the way here. You'll see that A through Z tab. Click on that, and simple enough, go to the Alpha Index and look for health sciences. And if I can take you there, all right, move that out of the way. So this is our overview page for health sciences and all the different programs that we have here. You can see there, starting with nursing programs, dental, and then the rest in our allied health, which Sharon oversees, starting from the PTA program, all of the rest of these. So she gets to manage the largest portion, if you will, of our health science programs in allied health. I'm not going to go into any of these, but some of you may not have been aware that Santa Fe offers degrees, certificates in these different areas. And I encourage you to check them out. I'm going to share with you in just a minute how to contact us. But today, in the minutes that we have, we want to focus on these 2, in respiratory care and cardiovascular technology and what's happening there. So let me click on our respiratory care page. And again, not going through all this, I just want to highlight, visit this, all the different information that you can find. If you have other questions and all that, and I hope this serves as a catalyst to have you follow up with that, click on our contact here, and you'll find how to reach out to both Sharon and myself here. Email us, and we'll be happy to. Although some people will think the college is closed, as my colleagues have shared, we have been operating remotely throughout the entire summer through Zoom, phone calls, emails. So we are easy to reach out to about this. You can also get some information about graduation rates, employment data, things of that sort, testing results about each program under this tab here, program effectiveness. But I want to take you to an information packet here. And this will get into some of the details, the nitty-gritty about how do I apply to a program, in this case our respiratory care, what are the deadlines, how do you select people. So some highlights here. These are limited access programs, meaning that we have limited seats available for each program. And so a student has to first qualify or be eligible to apply. You see the deadlines there. And then if they're selected, they are obviously admitted into the program. These programs start at different times of year. Unlike some other programs at Santa Fe, it's not like you just decide to start up in summer or fall or spring. Each program has a different designated time that we admit a new cohort. And what I want to emphasize today is our respiratory care program, which we've had for a while and has always been starting in the fall. And we recently admitted the cohort that will begin next month in respiratory care. And it's a traditional daytime program Friday. I believe we admitted, Sharon can correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say we have 22 students that will be starting that program this fall. But the new program for respiratory care that I'm excited about and I wanted to mention is the one that will be starting this coming spring in 2021. That seems like forever away, but it really is not. In fact, as you can see, the deadline to apply for students that want to start next spring is coming up in October. And what I'm excited about with this respiratory care program in the spring is that it will be focused for those students that might not be able to participate in a program that's a daytime, full-time commitment Monday through Friday. It will be entirely evening and weekends, and it will be 6 semesters. And it's exciting that we are able to offer that to our students that work during the day, have other obligations. So that's exciting to offer there. In terms of the prerequisites and that, I'm not going to go into all those details. You can scroll down this page and find those classes and the eligibility requirements. And that's where I highly recommend you reach out to myself. So let me bring Sharon in here and have her a couple questions for Sharon in terms of what are some of the duties, scope of healthcare does a respiratory care therapist do, Sharon?
So we've all heard about ventilators during this COVID pandemic, and so respiratory therapists are trained to monitor and make appropriate changes on the ventilators that the patient may be using to help them breathe. You also see respiratory therapists working in pulmonary function labs, so that could be an outpatient testing lab, and they're a vital part of any kind of care team. There's always a respiratory therapist who is on the life doctor. So it's a lot of hospital work. These therapists, those labs are functioning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our local facilities use many therapists, so almost all of our graduates get hired here within our community.
Excellent. Sharon, I don't know if we have data, but what roughly would you say are the starting salaries our graduates are seeing?
So everybody wants to live in sunny Florida, so we don't always have the highest pay here, but even in our area, most of the therapists are starting around $26 or $27 an hour, right out of school.
And I know which is typical of our health science programs, just like with Haley was sharing earlier with the Zoo Technology program. Part of the learning in health sciences is not just the traditional didactic in a class format, your labs as well, but going out and doing clinical rotations. And part of those experiences, we always get home with students. Those are interviews. You may not think that you're interviewing per se formally for a job, but going out in various hospitals, clinics, and getting your training, those employers, those sites are potentially looking at you as a hire. And many of our students have offers before they finish the program because of those experiences. So, all right, we want to transition into the cardiovascular in the few minutes we have. So let me go back to our webpage here, if I can find it. Did I lose it? No. Okay. Let's go back to health sciences and cardiovascular. So, some of you may already know, certainly heart disease in America, unfortunately, is the #1 leading cause of death. And so, certainly a great need for healthcare professionals in this field of work. What's exciting and new about our cardiovascular program is that now it's become 2 separate degrees. And by the way, I probably didn't clarify with the respiratory care, just like cardiovascular, these are AS degrees. So these are Associate of Science degrees, and it will enable you at the end of the program to sit for your licensing examinations in those particular areas. And great training for that specific career. So what is going to be new with cardiovascular? It's also a limited access program. It's also, much like respiratory care, you have to be eligible to apply, and I'm going into the information here. There's a minimum GPA, 2.50, just to be eligible, but I will often share with students, that's the bare minimum. These programs are very competitive, and we typically will see very high GPAs in your prerequisite courses and cumulative that get selected. So it's imperative you do very well in your classes in that. This program, Cardiovascular Technology, will start in the spring. Some of you may have heard students that have been admitted and started in the summer term in previous years. That no longer is the case. So now we split it into 2 different tracks, if you will. We have cardiovascular sonography using ultrasound and imaging, and then we also have invasive cardio technology. And I am not a cardiologist, I'm not a healthcare professional, but fortunately Sharon brings with us not only her management and administrative oversight of all these allied health programs, but she also has a background in cardiovascular technology. So Sharon, can you sort of describe briefly what's the difference between cardiovascular sonography and the invasive side of cardiotech?
So there's a lot of information, Tom, but again, somebody can call on us to get more. The cardiovascular technology at Santa Fe was one of the first 3 CDT programs in the nation to form, and at that time, you could work in a very limited labs. Now the cardiac cath lab is so, the scope of what they do is so big, these technologists need to be more specialized. And so the 2 branches are invasive cardiovascular technology, which prepares technologists to work in the cardiac cath lab, which is a high-paced, sterile environment. You're working on patients who need care in a very timely manner. So there are palliative procedures that are going on, as well as diagnostic procedures. And then the cardiovascular sonography program we're training sonographers to diagnose vascular disease with ultrasound. So these technologists work independently with their patients, and they're finishing protocols, interpreting the standards and the findings, and providing them to physicians who can go on and order further tests or perhaps treatment at that point.
Excellent. Good. So really, like I said earlier, if you're interested in either of these 2 programs or 3 programs, respiratory care or the 2 cardiovascular, or we prompted some interest in our other healthcare programs at the college, please reach out to us. The contact information was listed. Again, my name is Tom Robertson, and more than happy to get you started in looking and exploring this program. So I'll turn it back over to Izzy and James.
Awesome. Sharon, Tom, thank you. I do have one quick question. I hear about these programs with just massive numbers within those classes. What's the average class size there at Santa Fe College for some of the health science programs?
Sharon, would you respond?
Yeah, right around 20 students. Sometimes we have as low as 15, and sometimes we may get up to 24, depending on what the demand in our community is.
Fantastic. Sharon, Tom, thank you both. And thank you to your teams for all that you do. Your efforts are definitely making a difference in meeting the needs of our local healthcare system. You both enjoy the rest of your day.
Next, we're by Joanne Wilkes, and her amazing team of professionals who run the Displaced Homemaker programs are here to tell you about the program. So, Joanne, the floor is yours.
I was going to be on mute, but then, like everybody else, I didn't. But thank you so much, Izzy and James, for having me this morning and letting me talk about the Displaced Homemaker program. So one of the things I usually say when I'm talking about the program is, I love my job. I get to meet the most amazing people, and what my job is, I'm a witness. I'm a witness to them being able to change their lives. And we want to be there. We want to be there to help them get started, and help them move forward, and help them to be successful. So our main focus first is empowerment, education, and then employment. So I love hearing about all of these Santa Fe programs. We always have people who are interested in the health science programs, and we've had people attend. We had somebody who was in the first PTA class who in Santa Fe offered it. And in the Zoo programs, and so all of the programs, it's great for us to be located on Santa Fe campus because we can access all of those programs. And it's wonderful for us to be able to have those partnerships. I am going to just briefly share my screen and then come back, because if anybody who knows me knows that I can talk. So you all have to cut me off at the end. So here are the things that we can do. So how can we help you? I will say that mostly the time we deal with people who are non-traditional age students. So they are older than 26. Typically they're older than 30. And even though that doesn't sound very old, going back to school is not always the easiest thing. So how do you get started? What do you do? Who do you call? It can be this huge issue. So if you have ever attended Santa Fe, we want to help you re-enroll. It's not a very difficult process, but sometimes you can get stuck because who remembers their password from 20 years ago when you were here, and what email that you were using. So all of that can just be like, oh, okay, how do I even do that? So we will help you get through that. If you want to enroll in Santa Fe, we're going to tell you all the little tips as you navigate the application so that you don't get delayed in your acceptance. And I will say admissions office, especially Carolyn Goss, who is over there, has been great in helping us get people registered in school. A GED, you would be surprised at the number of people. We have about 18 women, and typically our population are women 30 and older. It doesn't mean we're going to exclude other people. We are really going to try to triage them and help them get started. But some of those women need GEDs. So we have about 18 women who are attending Santa Fe to get their GEDs, and we are thrilled about that. That is the first step. And then once they get a taste of going back to school, then they want to go on. So we also do, I'm just going to look at this briefly and then I'll go back to them. We have computer skills. We teach Karen, who is our instructor. And again, I have the greatest staff ever. I have Wanda Howard Holmes and Karen Sheets. Karen is doing a Zoom class on computers in the office next door. And we work with people on interviews and resumes, everything that you're going to need to make that transition to employment from education. So we help you get a plan. That's always the toughest thing, getting a plan, getting started, and then we're there at the finish line. So if you want to contact us, and we'll make sure this is available, it's very simple, dhp@sfcollege.edu. So it can't be much easier email address. I'll leave that there for a second, but then I want to go back to some of the other things that we do. So in listening to the health science, what we are trying to do is try to get people into school or to employment. So we listen to you when you come in, and we help you determine what is the best course for us to take. And so sometimes it is getting your education, getting your skills up to date so you can enter a highly skilled market. You have to have computer skills. And for some people, let's say we do deal with some people who are 50, not that that's the barrier, 50 and older, the computer is not something that's intuitive to you. And so in order to help those women, and we often have men who need to have that little bit of help, we ask them to come in and we can teach them computer classes. Now, we have been working since we went remotely. We've had many new people sign up. Karen and I are now back on campus. And so we are setting up appointments for new people to come in and so that we can help them get a plan. And one of the things that we found important on the employment end of it is we have about 26 graduates of the Displaced Homemaker Program working at Santa Fe. We are in every department, and so I will share this with you. If the DHPs ever all walked out at the same time, I think we could paralyze many of the different places on campus, because we are everywhere. But that's because they're quality workers. They're hard workers, and they're going to show up when it comes to their jobs. We also have a lot of people at UF. We have them in private industries. We have them at a lot of the nonprofits in our area. We also have had many of them who have moved out of our area, and they continue to contact us. We will update their resumes for them. We want them to learn how to do it on their own, but we are perfectly willing to help them with that. And so there are so many questions, so many things, but what I need you to do is just contact me, because we can help you with any one of those things. Getting a resume can be absolutely paralyzing if you've never had a resume. So we want to help you get started on that and get a resume. So James, I know you have questions for me. So here's my coffee story. We have a coffee group in the morning. It's called Coffee Morning with Joe. And so we have a lot of people on campus come by just for the coffee, because we have great coffee, because it's made with love, is the way we say. It may not be the most expensive, but it's made with love.
It is good coffee. Joanne, thank you so much. I do have one question, but I'm just going to go ahead and answer it, because I already know the answer. And it's about working with people with disabilities, like hearing or vision impaired, or even complete lack of vision. And I know you work with those people because I've been in your office, and I have seen the just very wide array of people that you provide services for. So again, thank you. We all need to be looking out for one another. So if you or someone you know needs this very specialized and confidential service, please reach out and set up a time to speak to Joanne and her awesome team. Again, thank you. Now, we're running out of time, so I want to move on to one of my favorite parts of the show, our Career Corner. Today, we have Sandy Walden from Takachali here to tell us about the great opportunities right here in Gainesville to work for the state. Sandy, welcome. The floor is yours.
Good morning, James. Thank you for inviting Takachali to participate in your Roundtable Coffee discussion this morning. We're excited about being on your show. Just want to share a little bit about Takachali. Takachali is one of the oldest residential facilities in the state of Florida. We currently serve over 294 residents. We employ over 1,000 employees. We have career service positions, OPS positions, and contract positions. And what I say to potential applicants, you have to have a certain heart, because we're in the field of healthcare, and we're trying to make a difference in the lives of the men and women in the state of Florida. We work with the most vulnerable citizens. Some of the positions that we offer are nursing positions, LPN, and registered nursing positions. We have shift supervisors, which is known as our human service senior supervisors position. We have our first line staff, in which you don't have to have any experience, which is known as our residential unit specialist. And then we have a senior residential unit specialist, a direct care position. And those are entry-level positions here at Takachali. And then we have a programmatic residential services unit specialist position. So we believe that if you want to be a part of Takachali, you must be willing to make a difference in the lives of Florida's most vulnerable citizens. What do we look at in potential employees? We look for someone who has a certain heart, someone who wants to make a difference in the lives of the men and women that live here, must have good communication skills, both verbally and in writing, must be willing to be a team player, and open and willing to learn. Now, working for the state of Florida, there are many opportunities to enhance your career. We highly encourage our employees to take advantage of the state tuition reimbursement program. And we believe that if you join our team, it's not just a job, but it is the gateway to establishing your career. We've had many employees to start off in our entry-level position. We have some that have become nurse practitioners, occupational therapists, physical therapists, social workers, and so we're excited about coming on the show today to promote career opportunities here at Tachala. What I will say is that I love working at Tachala. I've been with the organization nearly 38 years. And when I came, I had no idea I was going to be here that long, but because I enjoy making a difference in the lives of the men and women who live here, to teach them to be as independent as possible. We are under the Agency for Persons with Developmental Disabilities, and we're audited by the AHCA, which is the Agency for Healthcare Administration. And so our goal is to teach the men and women that live here to be as independent as possible. So if you're interested in making a difference in the lives of the men and women that live here, we encourage you to apply on the My Florida People First system, and you'll see a list of our open vacancies that we have here at Tachala. To get in contact with us, I'm going to give you our address, and we're located at 1621 Northeast Waldo Road here in Gainesville, Florida. And our HR department is area code 352-955-5600. And again, if you're interested, just reach out to us via phone or on the internet. Are there any questions?
Yes, Sandy, we do have one question. Do you have any part-time jobs?
So our part-time jobs right now are registered nurses and our licensed independent practitioner positions. Most of our direct care positions and management positions, they are full-time positions. And we do have a dental department, they may have some positions that are available.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of our viewers are taking advantage of this, and we'll definitely reach out to you. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. We're out of time once again. Please keep an eye open for our next broadcast scheduled for August 13th, where we will hear about Santa Fe dental programs, our early childhood education, our back to work program for older adults, and much more. Don't hesitate to reach out to any of us if you have questions or need assistance. While we weather the storm, all of us at Santa Fe College want you to know we're here for you, and we're all committed to your success. From all of us at Career Coffee Shop, thank you, stay safe, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.